I want you to just close your eyes for a second. Well, actually, don't close them if you're driving right now, but visualize the sound.
Oh, boy.
It is a sound that honestly haunts me. It's a sound that I think haunts, a massive percentage of the people listening to this deep dive right now.
I think I know where you're going with this.
You definitely do. It is that high-pitched, metallic, kind of glancing plink of a driver making contact with a golf ball.
Yeah.
But not the center of the face.
Oh, the heel strike, or the dreaded open face slice. That sound is just, it's the soundtrack of frustration.
It is the soundtrack of my weekends, honestly. You are standing on the tee box. It's a par 5. The fairway looks totally wide open. You've got the big stick in your hand, right?
Or driver.
The driver. Your buddies are watching. You tell yourself, okay, I am going to absolutely crush this thing.
Right, the classic mistake.
You tighten your grip until your knuckles turn white. You tense your shoulders all the way up to your ears. You swing with literally every ounce of fury and strength your body possesses. And what happens?
Physics happens. Unfortunately, not the physics you actually want.
Exactly. The ball starts left, cuts hard right, spins like some kind of uncontrolled helicopter, and lands weakly in the trees about, 180 meters out?
If you're lucky.
It is the most demoralizing feeling in sports. You put in 100% effort, and you got a 10% result.
It's what we call the amateur paradox. Because in almost every other aspect of human life, like lifting weights or, moving a couch, sprinting for a bus effort equals output.
Right.
If you push the couch harder, it moves faster. If you grit your teeth and strain your muscles, you get more work done. But golf is cruel.
So cruel.
In golf, conscious effort is usually the exact enemy of speed.
And that is exactly why we are gathered here today, because we found something in our source material that, honestly, when I first read it, I thought it was a scam.
It sounds too good to be true.
It felt illegal. We are looking at a deep dive into a source that promises the absolute holy grail, the 300-meter drive.
But not just a 300-meter drive. A 300-meter drive that feels like you are using zero force.
Zero force. When I read that in the prep notes, I laughed out loud. I said, okay, sure, this is clickbait.
Totally.
But then I watched the source video. We are breaking down a masterclass session from a Korean pro golfer, Anje Young, and he's teaching his own father. And the dad, look, can we just talk about the dad for a second?
Oh, we have to.
He is the ultimate proxy for us.
He really is.
Yeah.
I mean, he fits the profile of the everyday learner perfectly. He hasn't played golf in 14 years.
14 years. Think about that.
14 years of rust. He's stiff. He's skeptical. He's got that classic old man strength where he just wants to muscle everything with his upper body.
Yep.
And frankly, he doesn't believe a single word his son is saying at the beginning of the lesson.
And the transformation we witness in this video is honestly wild. We're talking about going from a choppy, stiff, slicing swing to hitting these towering straight drives that the pro estimates could roll out to 300 meters.
Yeah, it's incredible to watch.
And the dad's reaction throughout the whole thing is just constant disbelief. He keeps saying things like, I didn't use any strength, or this makes no sense.
That disbelief is the key tension we're going to explore today. It's this fundamental battle between effort, which is what the amateur feels is power, and physics, which is what actually creates the speed.
Right.
The pro's mission in this session is to basically deconstruct his father's swing using very specific biomechanical cues. He's trying to trick his dad's body into moving efficiently.
So our mission today is to break down exactly how he did it. We're going to unpack the Shrew takeaway, the rope metaphor, the woo-yang-woo turn, and this really crazy idea of throwing from behind.
It's packed with great stuff.
If you play golf, even casually, this might just change your life. If you don't, it's still an amazing masterclass in biomechanics and learning how to trust technique over brute force.
Precisely. And we really have to start where the swing starts, which is the takeaway. Because right from the very first swing the dad takes, the pro identifies the fatal flaw that plagues almost every amateur golfer out there.
The lift.
The lift. The dad addresses the ball, he gets ready, and his first instinct is to just pick the club head up with his hands. He lifts his wrists immediately.
Okay, let's stop right there. Why do we do that? Because it feels so natural to just pick it up. I always want to get the club high so it can hit down hard.
Right. It feels natural because we are incredibly hand-dominant creatures.
Sure.
If I told you to pick up a hammer and hit a nail, you'd use your wrist. You wouldn't rotate your entire torso to swing a hammer.
That would look ridiculous.
Exactly. We crave leverage. We want to feel the weight of the club up high immediately so we feel powerful. But the moment you lift with your hands, You've disconnected the club from your body's rotation.
Ah.
You've turned a big muscle movement into a small muscle movement.
You've severed the connection to the engine, basically.
Exactly that. You are now relying entirely on the twitchy, weak muscles of the forearms. And the pro spots this and stops him immediately. He introduces this concept of the Shrew sound.
Shrew, it's an onomatopoeia, right? Like a soft sliding sound.
Yes, exactly. In the source material, the pro is absolutely adamant about this. He tells his dad that the club head must drag along the mat for the first part of the takeaway.
Drag it.
Drag it. He doesn't just want him to feel it, he wants him to hear it. If there is no sound, if there isn't that friction of the club brushing the grass or the mat, it means the hands have taken over and lifted the club way too early.
So the drill is literally to drag the club head on the ground for as long as possible.
Ideally, yeah, for the first foot or two of the swing.
Yeah.
The specific instruction is don't lift, just turn.
Just turn.
But here's where it gets really interesting. To help his dad visualize this specific starting motion, the pro uses a really heavy metaphor.
Okay.
He says, imagine the club head weighs 100 kilograms.
Oh, wow. Okay, let's unpack this for a second. 100 kilograms. That's 220 pounds.
Right.
If the club head actually weighed 100 kilos, there is no way my wrist could lift it, period.
Exactly. Think about it. If I handed you a stick with a 100-kilogram boulder attached to the end of it and I said, hey, move this, what would happen if you tried to lift it with your wrists?
I'd snap my wrists. Or, well, nothing would happen. I physically couldn't do it.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So what would your body naturally do to move that boulder?
I'd dig my feet into the ground, I would brace my core, and I would probably use my big back muscles, my lats, to drag it.
You haul it.
Yeah, I wouldn't lift, I would haul.
Hauling. That is the feeling. That is the exact Shriek takeaway. By imagining that massive heaviness, you are forced to bypass the twitchy, weak muscles of the hands.
Right.
And you engage the slow, powerful engine of the torso.
Yeah.
You create a low, wide arc because you physically have to. It completely prevents that early lifting of the hands.
And this leads to what I found to be one of the most interesting psychological parts of the whole session, the height illusion.
Oh, this is fascinating.
The dad starts dragging the club, doing this hauling body turn takeaway, and he starts panicking a little bit. He tells his son, it feels like I only lifted the club to my waist.
This is the classic disconnect between feel and real in golf. The dad feels like his swing is tiny. He feels like he has absolutely no power because his hands aren't, high above his head like he's chopping wood.
Right.
But when you actually look at the video, because he used his body to turn, the momentum of that heavy club head carries it naturally all the way to the top. He's actually in a perfect full backswing position.
So when he actively tries to swing high, he lifts his arms and actually gets less rotation. But when he tries to keep it low and heavy,
he achieves the correct plane and a full deep rotation. The pro keeps reassuring him, saying it feels low, but look at the video, it's actually high.
It's about trust then.
Completely. You have to trust that if you create momentum with the big muscles during that initial starting motion, the club will get to where it needs to go without you manually placing it there.
It's kind of like throwing a baseball. You don't consciously place your hand behind your head and then push the ball forward.
No, not at all.
You just wind up and your arm naturally follows the momentum of your body.
That's a great analogy. If you try to manually place your arm, you have zero speed. If you throw it, the arm loads itself dynamically.
Okay, so we have the Shrew drag down. We are hauling the 100-kilo rock.
Yep.
But once that club gets moving up to the top, we run into the very next problem, tension. And this is where the pro introduces the rope drill.
This is the absolute game changer for me. Section 2 of our deep dive here, the rope metaphor.
It's so counterintuitive.
It really is. He wants his dad to stop thinking of the golf club as a rigid steel stick and start feeling it as a soft, flexible rope.
Now, I've heard of the rope drill before. You swing a literal piece of rope to feel the lag. But the specific visual the pro uses in this source, the shoulder rest, that terrified me.
It terrified you. Why?
Because he tells the dad that at the top of the backswing, the rope, meaning his arms and the club, should literally collapse and rest gently on his right shoulder.
Yes. Let it rest on your shoulder. That's the exact quote.
Do you know how scary that sounds to an amateur golfer? We are taught structure from day one. Keep your left arm straight. Create width. Keep your hands as far away from your head as possible.
The rigid triangle.
Yes, the rigid triangle. If I let the club collapse onto my shoulder, I feel like I've just given up. I feel like a wet noodle, like I have zero control over the club head.
And that fear of losing control is exactly why you're slicing the ball. You are craving control, and control requires muscular tension.
Right.
But tension is the enemy of speed. You have to give up control to gain speed.
Okay, convince me. Why do I need to be a wet noodle at the top of my swing?
Let's think about the physics of an actual rope. You can't push a rope.
No.
You can't force a rope. You can only pull it. Now imagine you are trying to snap a wet towel, like a classic locker room prank.
Okay, I'm with you.
If you keep your arm perfectly stiff and the towel perfectly stiff, can you snap it?
No. It just sort of waves around clumsily. You can't get that crack.
Right. You have to be loose. The towel has to trail behind your hand.
Okay.
That trailing sensation is what we call lag. When the pro tells his dad to let the club rest on his shoulder, he is forcing him to kill all the tension in his wrists and elbows.
Because if there is tension, the club doesn't rest. It hovers in the air.
Exactly. If you have tension, the club and your arms are essentially one solid, rigid stick. So if you turn your body, the stick moves with you immediately.
There's no separation.
None. There's no delay, no lag, no snap at the bottom. But if your arms are a soft rope, you turn your lower body, and the rope stays there for a split second.
It trails.
It trails, it wraps around you. That wrap, that delay, is potential energy being stored up.
So the pro is forcing his dad to relax his grip and his shoulders so much that the club actually flops onto his shoulder.
Correct. And there's this moment in the video, it's actually kind of funny to watch the dad tries to do it, but he's so unbelievably stiff that the rope just kind of bonks him on the head.
Ouch.
And the pro has to step in and literally massage his dad's shoulders. He's like, "Dad, you are stiff as a board. Let it die. Let the club die at the top."
Let it die. That is such a powerful, vivid cue. You have to kill the club's momentum at the top to bring it back to life at the bottom.
Exactly.
But this brings us to a huge issue, the timing, the weight.
Crucial. The unwinding sequence relies entirely on patience. The pro emphasizes this over and over. If you have a rope wrapped around your shoulder, you can't just yank it down immediately from the top.
Right.
You have to wait for the transition to happen. You have to wait for the lower body to start moving and unwinding before the rope even responds.
The dad really struggles with this, though. You can see he just wants to pounce on the ball. He gets to the top and immediately fires his upper body and arms.
It's the rush. Amateurs always rush from the top. The pro explains it perfectly. He says, if you pull the rope from the top with tension, the whole block moves together and you lose all your speed.
You're casting it.
Yes. But if you leave the rope loose up there and turn your body first, the rope snaps at the very bottom, right through the impact zone. It's the difference between swinging a heavy baseball bat and cracking a lightweight whip.
Okay, so we have the hauling Shrew drag to start the takeaway, and we have the rope feeling at the top where we let it just die on the shoulder to maintain that lag.
Yep, the pieces are coming together.
You can't just swing a rope while standing on ice. You need a solid base. And this brings us to section 3 of our deep dive, the loaded right side.
This is the engine room. This is where the power comes from.
And the source outline was incredibly specific here about the footwork and the weight distribution.
It has to be. The pro uses a Korean military command here to explain the feeling, woo yang woo.
Woo yang woo, which translates to right face or turn right.
Right. It's the literal command for a soldier turning 90 degrees to the right. But in the golf swing, he's using it to describe the backswing rotation. Now, we really need to pay attention to the exact footwork here, because this is where 99% of people get it completely wrong.
Let's hear it.
It is not a sway.
Okay.
You are not sliding your hips laterally to the right side.
Because if I slide, I sway off the ball and I lose my balance entirely.
Exactly. You are rotating your pelvis and your chest to the right, winding up and loading your body weight into the right foot. But specifically, you want to feel that pressure building in the inside of the right foot and the right heel.
The inside of the foot.
Yes. You are creating a solid post. If the weight rolls to the outside of your right foot, you've swayed and you've lost all your coiled power.
The pro is actually pretty hands-on here. I noticed in the video, he literally holds his dad's head in his right side.
He has to physically restrain him. Because the dad's biggest error, and honestly this is the error of almost every amateur, is that he wants to see the target.
We all do. We want to see where the ball is going before we even hit it.
Right. He wants to turn his upper body toward the hole way too early in the downswing. The pro calls this opening up or stinning out.
So the rule the pro gives him is keep your back to the target.
Back to the target. That is the golden rule for unwinding. Imagine you have a big logo on the back of your golf shirt. You want that logo pointing at the target for as long as humanly possible during the downswing.
Wait, hold on. During the downswing, but I need to turn to actually hit the ball. If I keep my back pointing at the target, how do I hit the thing?
You do need to turn, eventually.
Yeah.
But the sequence is what matters, the unwinding sequence. If you turn your shoulders toward the target before you've dropped the club down from the top, you are coming over the top of the plane.
Which causes the slice.
Exactly. You're chopping across the ball. The pro wants his dad to feel like he is keeping his back completely turned to the target while he throws the club from behind him.
This is where the weight distribution gets really detailed in the source. He mentions staying on that right foot a lot longer than you'd think.
Yes. The dad's instinct is to immediately shift all his weight to the left foot and spin his hips. He wants to get off that back foot as fast as possible.
Should generate power.
But the pro corrects this. He wants the weight to feel deeply loaded on the right foot during that crucial transition phase. He describes it as a dumping feeling.
Dumping, like a dump truck. What does that mean?
Okay, imagine you are holding a heavy bucket of water. You have wound up to your right side during the backswing.
Okay, I've got the bucket.
Now, you want to throw that water as far as you can.
All right.
If you spin your upper body to the left first, the water just spills weakly all over your own feet.
That paints a picture.
But the pro wants you to dump that bucket of water behind your right foot.
Whoa. Behind the right foot, that feels so backwards.
It's a feeling, right? Not the literal direction you want the ball to go. It means the throw of the club happens behind you. You are unleashing that rope-like energy while you are still firmly anchored on the right side.
So you're staying loaded on the rear foot.
Yes. If you cross the center line and shift all your weight to your left side before you've thrown the club head, you've completely lost the power source. You're just dragging the handle of the club through the impact zone.
So let me try to visualize this really complex sequence of unwinding.
Go for it.
Okay. I've hauled the 100-kilo weight back using the Shrew drag.
Good.
I've let my arms collapse on my shoulder like a wet noodle to keep the lag.
Perfect.
Now I'm keeping my back facing the target. I'm feeling all that pressure building in my right heel and the inside of my right foot, and I'm throwing the club head down from behind me while still loaded on that right side.
That is the exact sequence. That is how you maximize speed without adding effort. And the footwork here is very subtle.
How so?
It's not that you never, ever go to the left side. You have to finish on the left side eventually. But it's that you push off the right side to get over there, rather than just passively spinning your hips and falling to the left. The pro heavily emphasizes that the transition isn't a spin. It is a powerful throw initiated directly from that loaded right side.
Okay, let's talk about that throw. Because section 4 of our deep dive is all about the feeling at impact. And this is where the language gets very, very specific. Throwing versus dragging.
This is the difference between a pro and an amateur right here.
The dad has this overwhelming instinct to drag the handle of the club to the ball.
Dragging is
Throwing
absolute
versus
death
dragging.
for club
This
head
is the difference
speed.
between a pro and
If
an
you
amateur
drag the
right
handle,
The dad
the
has
club
this
head never actually
overwhelming
catches up to your
instinct
hands
to
until it's
drag the
way too
handle
late.
of the The club face to the stays ball.
The
wide open.
face
Dragging
stays
is
open,
absolute
you add a
death for
ton of
club head
loft,
speed.
and you hit a weak
If you
slice.
drag the handle,
To
the club
fix
head
this,
never actually
the
catches up
pro
to your hands
uses
until
a
it's way
very
too late.
aggressive drill
face
here.
stays
He
wide
calls it
open.
the
The face
stop
stays
drill.
open,
Yeah.
you add a ton of
This
loft,
one seemed almost
you hit a
dangerous
weak
to me when I
slice.
read the source notes.
To fix this,
He tells his
the
dad
pro
to stop
uses
his
a
hands.
very
He
aggressive
says,
drill
practice
here.
stopping your
He
hands
calls it the
abruptly at
stop drill.
impact,
Yeah.
while letting the club head
This one
fly
seemed
past
almost
you.
dangerous
But wait
to
a
me when I
minute.
read the source notes.
If I completely stop my
tells his dad
hands,
to stop
won't
his
the
hands.
club just stop? Won't I lose all my momentum and power?
No, and here is where the physics of the release really kicks in. This is where we need to understand momentum transfer.
Okay, science time.
Imagine a car crash.
Lovely.
Stay with me. If a car is speeding at 100 miles an hour and it hits a solid brick wall and stops dead, what happens to the passenger inside who isn't wearing a seatbelt?
They fly straight through the windshields.
Exactly. Because the car, which represents your hands, stopped suddenly, the momentum didn't just disappear. It had to go somewhere.
Right.
It transferred instantly to the passenger. And the passenger is the club head. This is the whip crack we were talking about earlier.
Oh.
To make the tip of a whip break the sound barrier, you don't just keep moving your hand forward as fast as you
They
can.
never get the crack.
Right. You snap your hand back. You forcefully break the system to release the energy into the tip.
That makes so much sense when you explain it that way. So the feeling through impact isn't dragging the club through the ball with your muscles. It's throwing the club head at the ball while actually breaking your hands.
Correct. You are contrasting the desired loaded release with the common casting mistake. When players cast the club early from the top to try and generate speed, they have nothing left at impact. They have to drag.
But if you hold that lag and then break the hand,
The club head fires out with incredible speed. And this is why the back-to-target rule and the loaded right side are so important here.
why is that?
Because if you stop your hands while your body is actively spinning open toward the target, you will hook the ball off the face of the planet.
Oh, because the face would snap completely shut.
Exactly. But because the dad is staying closed, keeping his back to the target and his weight on the right side and throwing the club head, the swing path naturally becomes in to out.
Which is the holy grail for slicers.
It truly is. The slice is caused by an out-to-in path. You're cutting across the ball from the outside. By staying closed and throwing from the inside, remember, dumping the water behind the right foot, the dad cures his slice instantly. The ball starts right of the target line and draws beautifully back to the left.
And the finish position changes dramatically too, right? Because he's not doing that classic reverse C amateur finish where they sort of fall backward onto their right foot.
No. The pro focuses heavily on what he calls the right foot push. The finish isn't created by spinning the hips open. It's created by pushing the right foot hard into the ground to extend the body upward.
There was a very specific checkpoint mentioned in the source about the eyes and the shoulder.
Yes, this is a great visual cue. The pro says at the finish of the swing, your eyes, your right shoulder, and your right foot should all form a straight vertical line.
Let's visualize that for a second. Eyes, right shoulder, right foot, stacked.
Exactly stacked. What that means is your chest is now facing the target. You have fully rotated, but your head has stayed back behind the ball.
Yeah.
You haven't lunged your upper body forward in an effort to hit it hard.
You're in this incredibly powerful, tall, extended position.
You've stayed behind the ball and unleashed all that stored energy completely past you.
Honestly, this sounds incredibly technical when we break it down piece by piece. The shriek drag, the rope lag, the weight, the back to target, the stopping of the hands.
It's a lot of biomechanics.
But for the dad in the video, it was all about feeling. And the result for him was just shocking.
It was a total revelation. We call this final section the cheat code because that is exactly how it felt to him.
I love his quotes in the transcript so much. He hits this massive, perfect drive. It's straight, it's high, it's incredibly long, and he just turns to his son, completely bewildered, and says, "This makes no sense."
Yeah.
And then he says, "I didn't use any string."
That is the paradox of effort, perfectly encapsulated. Yeah. The dad feels like he is swinging at maybe 10% effort. He feels, in his own words, lazy.
Lazy.
He feels like he barely even touched the golf ball. But the ball is flying 250 meters in the air. The pro even hypes him up, looking at the launch monitor, saying some of them are touching 300 meters with the rollout.
How is it physically possible that 10% effort yields a 300-meter drive? My brain just stubbornly refuses to accept this.
Because effort to an amateur usually means tension.
Tension.
Think about it. When you try to hit something really hard, what do you physically do?
I clench my jaw. I tighten my biceps. I grip the club like I'm trying to strangle a snake.
Right. And when you tense your muscles like that, you are actively engaging your antagonist muscles.
What does that mean?
It means your biceps are actively fighting your triceps. Your chest is fighting your back. This internal battle acts as a massive brake on your body's movement. It literally slows the swing down.
So trying hard is literally acting as a brake system on your own swing.
Precisely. You are fighting yourself. Laziness in the correct biomechanical context means only the necessary muscles are firing, and they are firing in the proper unwinding sequence.
Right.
The rope feeling ensures that the energy flows unimpeded from the ground, through your torso, down your arms, and into the club head. The dad says, "Is it really going that far?" Because he can't believe it. He didn't feel the hit.
That's the thing. We desperately want that crushing impact feeling in our hands. We want to feel the heavy vibration to know we hit it hard.
But a perfectly struck golf ball feels like hitting a marshmallow.
It feels like absolutely nothing.
Nothing at all. And that is the hardest mental hurdle to overcome. The pro has to constantly gently reassure him throughout the session. He keeps saying, trust the laziness, trust the weight of the club.
The dad really has to fight his own ego, doesn't he?
Completely. He has to fight the overwhelming urge to rush or pounce on the ball from the top of the swing. He has to deeply trust that swinging softly will somehow produce the hard result he wants.
It's amazing how this paradox applies to so many things in life, but in golf, the feedback is instant and brutal.
Very brutal.
You tense up, you slice it 50 yards into the deep woods, you relax and trust the sequence. Boom, 300 meters straight down the middle of the fairway.
It's immediate, undeniable accountability. And for the dad, That swoop sound acts as his baseline trigger. If he hears the club drag, he knows he's starting the chain reaction correctly.
And if he feels the rope die on his shoulder, he knows he's properly loaded.
If he dumps the weight behind his right foot, he knows he's sequencing.
Yeah.
It becomes a reliable formula rather than just hoping and swinging out of his shoes.
So let's recap this magical formula for our listeners who might be literally itching to get out to the driving range right now. We've covered a ton of deep biomechanics, but let's boil it down to the essential feelings. We've got 4 main steps.
Right, let's simplify it. Step 1 is the Shrew start.
The Shrew start.
Drag the club low along the ground like you are hauling a 100-kilogram boulder. Do not lift with your hands. Use your big body turn. And remember the audio cue: if you don't hear the sound of the club brushing the mat, you lift it early.
Got it. Step 2.
Step 2 is rope arms. Relax your grip in your shoulders completely until the club feels like a soft, heavy rope. Swing to the top and let it literally collapse and rest gently on your right shoulder. Wait up there for it to wrap around you. Maintain that lag.
The weight is so crucial. Okay, step 3.
Step 3 is stay closed. Keep your back facing the target during the start of the downswing transition. Load the pressure deeply into the inside of your right foot. Remember the command, Wu Yang Wu.
And finally, step 4.
Step 4 is throw behind. Release the energy from that loaded right side. Feel like you are throwing the club head past your stationary body by abruptly breaking your hands at impact. Transfer that momentum.
And the promised result is the zero effort drive. It is just fascinating stuff. You know, we always try to leave you, the listener, with something to chew on, not just about the technical topic we covered, but about the bigger picture.
Yeah, and the source material here is so rich with broader philosophical implications.
It really is.
The pro proved to his father that his absolute best performance came when he genuinely felt like he was doing less.
Doing less to achieve more.
Think about your own practice habits. If you leave the driving range completely exhausted, sweating through your shirt with your muscles aching, you practiced effort. You didn't practice speed.
Man, that hits close to home. We so often equate exhaustion with productivity. We tell ourselves, I worked so hard today, I'm totally drained, so I must be getting better.
But did you actually get the result you wanted? Or were you just tense the whole time?
Exactly. So the provocative thought we want to leave you with today is this. What other areas of your life are you just muscling through right now?
That's a great question to ask yourself.
Where are you unnecessarily applying tension and brute force, maybe in your career, in your personal relationships, or your creative projects, where adopting a rope-like relaxation and trusting a better sequence would actually produce a much better result?
Are you forcing the Saruk instead of letting it happen naturally?
Are you trying to lift the 100-kilo weight with your weak wrists instead of just hauling it with the big engine?
Maybe the key to your own 300-meter drive in life isn't grinding harder and harder. Maybe it's dragging low, waiting patiently for the transition, and just trusting the physics of the system.
I absolutely love that. So here is your final call to action for this deep dive. Next time you're out practicing, or hey, even just swinging a kitchen broom in your living room, just watch out for the lamps. Try to actually make that shurick sound.
Listen for the drag.
See if you can trick your own brain into hitting a massive, powerful shot with zero physical effort.
And remember, if it feels lazy, you're probably doing it exactly right.
Thanks for diving deep with us today. We'll see you on the next one.